Welcome to your career in shirts.
Thank you.
Classic Football Shirts have curated everything from your childhood through to now. What are your first impressions seeing this?
There's a lot of shirts.
There's a lot of shirts.
All from my childhood.
Everyone, this is your childhood section here. Really.
Okay, that's not so bad.
So it feels like a nice place to start. Here we go through to 1982.
Okay.
What a shirt.
Steve Coppell.
Yes.
It reminds me of Steve Coppell.
What do you think? Were you ever lucky enough to own this shirt? It's one of the most iconic, rarest English shirts of all time.
Amazing shirt.
Yeah. What was your first memory watching football?
One of the first World Cups that I'd ever seen. Brian Robson, obviously, scoring a great goal in '82. My hero, Brian Robson. Yeah. But great shirts.
Do you think it was the first memory being in that World Cup and Brian Robson scoring goals was what made him synonymous with you, and was that what drew you to him?
No, he was a United player, so I'd always followed him. Yeah. He was always my hero as a United player. That's my earliest memory of a World Cup, and see Brian Robson scoring and special shirt.
Were you lucky enough to own it growing up? It's such
of course.
Yeah.
I had one of these shirts. I had the white one.
Yeah, we've got this one, '86 World Cup. There's actually a photo of you wearing this shirt as well, going around.
Yeah, probably one of the first England shirts, other than that one, that I really remember. So it was a special one.
It's amazing seeing these shirts from the '80s and like how designs have evolved to now. And speaking about like this era, the younger era, these are actually two shirts. This is worn. This is a match-worn Pelé shirt.
Wow.
And this is a match-worn Maradona shirt.
Amazing.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, that's a sweater.
Yeah, I imagine playing in that heat as well, in the Italian heat, in that.
It's so Italian though. Yeah. It's so Italian to do it, like a cashmere football kit.
Yeah, exactly.
So Italian.
It's amazing seeing, like I said, about how shirts progressed over the years. Back playing like that, you wouldn't get players wearing stuff like this now.
Actually, I based our Miami shirt off. That's why we've got the collars like we've got.
Really, like the retro collar?
I based it off this.
Nice.
I based it off this. So all the ideas for this strip came from this.
Okay, nice. We've got the Miami shirts at the end. Really delve into that as well. There's another match for Maradona here, the Barcelona classic.
Well, Maradona, Mark Hughes, Gary Lineker.
Yes.
Actually, when I went to Barcelona, when I won the Bobby Charlton Soccer Skills, this was the strip, funnily enough. So it was, brings back great memories. That's a great shirt.
When you speak about the fact you won the Bobby Charlton Soccer Skills and him being your dad's hero, was that a really proud moment for your family? It must have been.
It was, actually. I was playing for Ridgeway Rovers at the time, and there was a cup final in between the 2 weeks that I was away in Barcelona. So my mum and dad couldn't afford to fly me back, so my granddad saved up and used his savings and flew me back because my granddad was a Tottenham fan.
Okay.
And the final was at White Hart Lane. So my granddad flew me back. I played in the game. We lost, unfortunately. And then I flew back to Barcelona for the last week.
Was that your first experience playing at a stadium?
That was one of my first experiences of playing in a stadium of that size and that magnitude. So it was a big moment, but an even bigger moment for my granddad, White Hart Lane.
This shirt is seen as probably the most iconic football shirt of all time.
Gullit, Van Basten,
Gullit famously didn't like it. He came out and said he didn't like it, but everyone else other than him loves it.
Don't worry, I'm sure he looks back on it and thinks he probably liked it a little bit.
Yeah. Do you look at design when you look at memories on shirts, or do you look at moments? Like, this is the most iconic Holland shirt because they won in it. Do you attribute memories or do you attribute the design?
Memories. Yeah. Memories without a doubt. I mean, I'm a big design person. This was probably the first time that the design all of a sudden went down this road. You look at all the shirts up until then, they're very plain, very simple.
We move on to an era now. This is probably the most iconic Adidas, Manchester United period. Yep. Some of these designs are synonymous with the club. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, obviously Brian Robson, Mark Hughes. I think we might have won the FA Cup second leg, maybe in that strip. I can't remember, but I love that strip. Back
in the day when FA Cups had second legs.
There you go. No, we won. That's the one that we won the final.
That is match war.
That's the one.
That is issued for the final. Like, actually.
Lee Martin, Lee Sharp, Stevie Bruce. This actual shirt was what we won the Youth Cup final in.
These are now in, like, properly in.
Yeah.
Like,
my son wears all this stuff now.
What do you make of it?
just brings back memories from when I was a kid at United.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my son would love that right now.
Speaking about memories, let's move on to here. This shirt is probably the most iconic, like in terms of design. Manchester United fans love this shirt.
Yeah. And they bought it back recently with a tracksuit top as well, which was quite cool. I liked it. You know, I always like United strips. You know, I weren't bothered about what design it was.
Yeah.
Anything Man United, that's all I cared about.
When you became a player, did you like really look forward to the new shirts coming out?
All the time. New shirts, new boots, as soon as they came out. And, you know, it's not like these days, you know, my kids have got multiple pair of football boots. Yeah. Whereas I had one pair of boots a year or one United kit a year, and that was at Christmas. So, and my granddad used to buy me the Tottenham kit. So,
just touching upon the class of '92, this is a very special.
Eric Harrison.
These are his tracksuit bottoms. They are.
Oh my God.
John, I can feel free to take a full look. These are like modern fashion.
I'm not sure whether it brings back good memories or bad memories, because Eric was like tough on us, and I remember him wearing these things. Oh my God, they're so cool. That brings back quite emotional memories, actually. When
you think of the class of '92, do you ever dwell on just how iconic that period was and like how it still is seen as the most iconic youth team of all time?
It is. And obviously we were so successful, but then obviously when we all stepped up to go into the first team, the reason we were so successful in the first team was because we had Mark Hughes, Brian Robson, Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, you know, all of these great players, Roy Keane, to help us evolve. So, you know, we were successful as a youth team, but then once we stepped up, we needed the other players with experience to teach us.
When you said about being in there with Brian Robson, was that a really interesting moment for you, being in the same squad as your hero?
It was quite nerve-wracking, you know, even seeing him and sitting in the same dressing room as him. But for me, it was a dream come true to be in the same, you know, to be in the same dressing room and then to obviously play with him as well.
Moving on to when you were in the first team squad, 1992, laced collar, debut against Brighton. Just what emotions do you feel seeing this?
To play my first game for United was a big moment. This actually wasn't one of my most favourite shirts. I didn't love the lace. It brings back fond memories because my debut.
Did it ever get in the way when playing? Like, surely these were like...
Not really. Some of us took them out sometimes, so we'd just take the string out and
These two are more just crazy designs. Like, you never see a club with their badge that big on the shirt.
No. I mean, this one, obviously, I remember us winning, playing against Crystal Palace. And Eric and Keeney playing in this at Crystal Palace. Those are the memories from that one.
Moving on to here, we've got the Old Trafford on there. Full debut against Port Vale. That collar synonymous with Eric Cantona as well. Old Trafford number 24.
Yeah, I know. Fond memories.
Yeah. What about the away shirt, the Cantona? Like,
yeah, I mean that's the famous Eric shirt, really. I mean every Eric shirt was famous, in all honesty. But it's a good strip.
Good strip. Yep. Speaking of a good strip, they don't really make shirts like this anymore.
No, they don't.
Preston, 1995. Yeah. What are your memories of being in Preston?
To be honest, great memories. Yeah. I arrived thinking that Manchester United didn't want me anymore. It's what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do with all, you know, a lot of young players that needed toughening up. He'd send them out to, you know, the lower league to get kicked around a little bit. And that's exactly what I did. I went there, played 4 or 5 games, scored a couple of goals, set a few up, and it actually went very well. But I definitely got kicked around a bit.
Scored directly from a corner?
I did.
Yep, and then
very windy that day.
When you returned to Manchester United in that summer, you spoke about when you went there initially, you were worried that you weren't going to be part of the club anymore. Yeah. At what point did you realise during the summer of '95 that you were actually going to be a fixture of the squad going into the next season?
You lived day to day at Manchester United, you know, week to week. You know, you had to perform every single day in training, every single day that you played a game, you had to perform, because if not, you know, you're going to get let go. So we always lived on the edge of the fear of being let go from Manchester United. So in all honesty, throughout my whole career, even though people might think it's silly to say, you're always trying to impress because you never want to get sold. So you're constantly thinking you're not safe.
We can't, 95, this is the most infamous away football shirt of all time.
It wasn't the greatest period for us. We obviously got beat by Southampton, I think it was, and then we got beat the week after. I'm not sure we wore it again.
I remember the comments about you. Could you see it? Was it actually a sight problem with the shirt?
We actually, obviously people are going to say, of course you're going to say that. Actually, it was a struggle to see each of your players on the pitch.
Really?
Because it just blended in with the crowd. So, I mean, we're not blaming it on the loss, but it wasn't easy.
That season, you rallied back to win the league title from 10 points behind and a double.
Yep.
What was that moment winning your first trophy like?
It was an amazing moment. That season had gone from, us all coming into the team and people doubting a lot of things about obviously young players being in the squad, to then being so far behind, playing catch up, and then winning it in the way we did, and then doing the double for the first time, especially against Liverpool. That was, it was special.
Yeah, I can imagine that when you get used to winning. I guess you never get fully used to winning, but it must have been such a high the first time. Then taking on the number 10 shirt.
Yep.
You took on that shirt. What was it like wearing the number 10 for the first time?
It was amazing because one of the players that I always looked up to was Mark Hughes.
Yes.
So for me to wear number 10 was very special. And I remember being on holiday in Malta and my phone ringing, and we just signed Teddy Sheringham. Okay. And it was, hi. He said, it's the boss. And I was like, okay, boss, this is something different. He said, we're signing Teddy Sheringham. We're taking the number 10. And I was like, no, boss, I had a great season in this number 10. No, doesn't matter. We'll see you in a few weeks, David. And that was it. And the number 10 got taken off of me in one of the best seasons that I'd ever had. But then I arrived back to training and the boss says, by the way, you got number 7. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was.
So obviously to number 7, to take it from someone like Cantona. Did you feel the weight of that number at all at any point?
No, not really. It didn't even enter my head, to be honest. I just thought, wearing the number 7 of Cantona and Brian Robson and George Best, I never felt the pressure. I was just so happy to actually wear number 7.
What goal from your early part of your career stands out most to you?
I don't know. I suppose, obviously the Wimbledon one. That's the one that, changed, my life, really.
Really?
I was doing well and playing in a few games for the first team. But I suppose to score a goal like that, was a very special moment.
The non-celebration as well, was it just, why so?
I actually don't know. I was probably in shock that it went in. I'd scored goals like that for, my Sunday league football team.
Yeah.
But, to do it in a game, of that level was a huge moment. So it was, I enjoyed that one.
With huge moments, we'll talk about in Moldova.
Yep.
A massively proud moment for you. Very proud Englishman.
Very. To make my England debut for me was, a dream come true. Being a United fan, I'd always wanted to play for United, but my one dream was to represent my country.
Okay.
So this moment was so special.
Just going back to the number 7, for the first time you wore number 7 for Manchester United, it was actually in a competitive match in the Charity Shield 1997, the misprint.
The misprint.
Were you familiar with it at the time?
I was familiar with it at the time, but I wasn't aware of it until I stepped off the pitch.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't aware that it'd been spelt differently. But that was Albert Morgan, the kit man. So that was one of his mistakes. His only mistake.
Did you find it funny at the time? I imagine it's...
No, not at all.
Let's continue on to...
Not hard to spell my name.
Your first England goal was against Colombia. Just talk us through scoring your first goal for your country.
To play in the World Cup, firstly, was very special.
Yeah.
I actually changed my shirt that day with Valderrama as well. So that was a special day. It wasn't just my first goal for England in a World Cup. It was my mum's birthday, so it was extra special.
What a day. You spoke about the shirt swap with Valderrama. Yeah. Did you collect a lot of shirts throughout your career? Do you still have
I have all the shirts.
Really?
I have every single shirt, including the misspelled one. I still have that, and I still have all of the shirts that I've collected in storage.
That is unbelievable. That's so
all
good.
Of them.
You can open a museum.
Oh, there's an idea.
Just emotions when seeing a shirt. We spoke back to the memories and emotions seeing a shirt.
Yeah.
How do you feel sort of seeing this shirt itself?
I suppose whenever I see an England shirt, it brings back fond memories. This is the one in '98 that brings back obviously good memories, but also painful memories. Yeah. You know, this was a huge moment in my career and a changing moment, I suppose, that I didn't see at the time. But, you know, it does bring back memories, and they're not all good, but at the end of the day, these things happen. But
that's football.
We can put that one away.
Yeah. Let's move on to here. Come around to this section now. We've bookended the first section. Firstly, these are your boots. You actually wore these. These are your worn boots from 1998.
Okay.
Weren't these hybrids? A mix between two different types of boots, apparently like soft ground and firm ground?
Yeah. This was the start of the blade. I wasn't sure about the blade at the start, but then I turned around to Adidas and said, okay, put some normal studs in the back because I need the grip. And then obviously with the blades. And then I got used to them and I actually love them. These are actually my favourite pair of Adidas boots that I wore, the design.
We have to talk about the treble season.
Yep.
Firstly, the evolution of kit design, the zip here. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on that at the time?
I didn't love it because as soon as you chested a ball, it actually hurt.
Okay.
So I think they changed the zip to like a rubbery kind of one at one point. But at the start, it was quite uncomfortable.
Continuing on with this one, the game against Barcelona at Old Trafford.
Yep.
Wore the away shirt at Old Trafford.
Quite a good free kick.
Yeah, quite a good free kick that day.
Yeah, we weren't too happy about wearing a different kit because we couldn't wear the red, but you know, it almost worked out well. You know, we were 3-2 up, but it was a great game.
FA Cup final, big win that day. Took on Newcastle.
Yeah.
This is a decent shirt, the iconic Newcastle brown ale.
Newcastle always had good shirts. To be honest, they always had good shirts, and yeah, I've always loved Newcastle as a club. I love the fans. I love the way they are. They've always we played up in Newcastle for England once, and they were amazing. The final was the easiest out of all three of those games.
Okay, let's carry on and talk about the one that was slightly more difficult. We've got the Champions League final.
Yeah, I love this shirt. I love this shirt. It's a special shirt that we created, history in. So, against a great Bayern Munich team, and the way it all happened, I was. It gives me goosebumps even talking about it and thinking about it. It was a special one.
How do you celebrate that night? How do you even celebrate a treble win?
To be honest, we were so tired, but we celebrated. Don't worry about that. We had a couple of beers.
Another huge moment for you, 2000, England captaincy.
Yeah.
Is that the proudest moment of your career?
Yes, without a doubt. Winning the treble for us was a big moment, as a United fan to create history like we did. But the moment I was given the armband for England, without doubt, the proudest moment in my career.
Had you heard about it before it happened, or did you just
No. Peter Taylor had told me that he was going to give me the captaincy, but it was only the day before the games.
Let's continue on to the 00 season. This is an interesting shirt. More known for, I guess, the chipped free kick against Blackburn, the free kick against Manchester City.
Yeah.
Long sleeves again.
I always wore long sleeves. Even when it was hot, I liked to wear long sleeve. Even when I was playing in America, I liked to wear long sleeves. So it's a strange thing, but I like this shirt, actually.
This reversible shirt, even for a club to have a gold shirt in the first place.
I remember this being really heavy. I quite like the gold shirts, but you look at it now, it's like a goalkeeper shirt. So
yeah, it's a good point. You can see Bartes wearing this more than the players.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this shirt is my generation, for example. David Beckham, Greece game, the design of St. George's down there.
Yeah, special shirt. This is the one that takes me right back to that moment. Again, wore long sleeves on the day, but this is the moment that one of the greatest moments probably in my career.
And then you continue on to wear it in the World Cup as well. Yeah. A very interesting World Cup. That day, obviously the heartbreak against Brazil, but their players were swarming you to get your shirt at the end of the game. Do you know, who did you end up swapping with in the end? Do you remember?
Probably with Roberto. I would have thought, because I'd always swap with Roberto, even when we played, Real Madrid a few times. I swapped with Zidane once, Roberto once. So I always used to swap with Roberto. So I probably got his.
And then progressing on from there, Real Madrid unveiling the basketball facility. You took on the number 23.
Yep.
Was this the reason for it? What was the season going from 7 to 23?
Well, I moved to Real Madrid. Number 7 was Raul. I would never obviously even think about asking for number 7. I would never have got it anyway. So I just said, what numbers are available, and they said the numbers that were available, and I don't think 23 was one of them. But I said, I'm a huge fan of Jordan. I've always loved him. I've always been a big admirer of him. And I said, can I have 23? And they said, yeah, you can have 23. And that's how it all started.
When you get unveiled, though, obviously you go in there with the Galacticos. You've got like Roberto Carlos, Zidane, Raul, Ronaldo. Do you feel the weight of that when you join there? Basically, does David Beckham get nervous?
You do feel the weight of it, but you also get excited because it's a new challenge. You're playing with new players. You're playing with the best players in the world.
Yeah.
So of course you walk into a change room and you see Raul, Figo, Zidane, Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos, all great players, and you're playing with them. Of course you get a little bit nervous, but you're excited.
Okay, and then we got the first tour with Real Madrid, the Chinese print there. Beckham Mania was in full swing there.
It was.
Did you ever have to do you take a step back in moments like that and think, like, this is crazy?
It was crazy at that time. Obviously me moving from Manchester United to Real Madrid, it was a crazy time. But that tour, I must admit, was one of the most hectic that I've ever been on.
What was your favourite shirt from your time at Real Madrid? We've got a few
nice
ones.
This was one of my favourites. This one.
The blue. That's a match worn by Owen.
So I love this blue. Something about it. We thought about replicating it for our third kit in Miami.
Okay.
I just loved this colour. I thought this colour was beautiful. This was actually one. I wasn't mad on the shape of the collar, but I loved this jersey. I like the black one as well. The black one was good. I know. I used to wear long sleeve over there as well.
When you talk about the collars as well, I'm guessing it's because you love the retro feel collar, right?
Yeah, to be honest, it's not even the retro. I like a crew neck. To be honest, like this, I love a crew neck collar. For the Miami shirt, we kind of just tried to go old school and see how they liked it. But
you did sort of take on this man in the infancy of his career.
Yep.
Do you have any recollection of that at all? Of
course, playing at the Bernabeu. Seeing Leo as a young kid, you could see. I mean, this player was just different, as you can imagine, coming up against a Barcelona team, but not any Barcelona team. A Barcelona team that had the likes of Ronaldinho, Leo, Iniesta, Xavi, all of these great players. It was a tough moment.
Ended up ending your career at Real Madrid, winning the title on the final day. Tom Cruise was in the stands that day.
He was.
Must have felt a bit like Mission Impossible at times.
Well, it did at times. Yeah, that was, after 3 years of not winning anything, to win La Liga on the last day of the season in the way that we did, in the fashion that we did, was very special.
Also in 2006 in general, just the World Cup.
Yeah.
A really special time, especially for me growing up.
Everyone spoke about that, and I think that probably added pressure to tournaments and to games, but I always felt that every team that we had an opportunity. So it brings back fond memories. I scored a goal in that World Cup, which was nice, against Ecuador.
Yeah, I remember. That's one of the first World Cup games I remember.
Yeah.
Continuing on, we'll go to moving on now to LA Galaxy. Yeah. You moved there and you kept the 23. Was there a reason for that? Did you sort of see 7 as being in the past, or?
I actually loved the thought of wearing 23 in America. Obviously, the connection with Jordan and how important the number 23 was. So I just felt that it was the right thing to do to wear the 23. Also, Chris Klein was wearing the number 7 at the Galaxy at the time. And I always feel bad about taking, numbers off of people, and I've never really done it. So I wasn't going to start on my first day at the Galaxy. So keeping 23 was actually appropriate. But then, obviously, I moved to AC Milan for a few months.
Did you always want to play in Serie A?
I always wanted to play for AC Milan.
Okay.
I suppose it was a club that I always looked up to. It was a club that I always loved. And when I had the opportunity to play, then I took it. I needed to stay in the England team to make the World Cup. So my decision was to play for Milan. But then when I went to Milan, 23 wasn't available. Number 7 wasn't available. So I was like, well, I also love Magic Johnson, who was 32. So I took the number 32, and I had that for Milan, and then I had it for PSG as well.
I think the big moment from Milan is the return to Old Trafford, obviously. Yeah. Was that another really incredibly emotional moment in your career?
It was probably one of the most emotional moments, because I left Manchester United at such a moment where I had never had the opportunity to say goodbye to the fans. Yeah. And throughout my 4 years at Real Madrid, we never played them, which was unbelievable considering obviously the Champions League. So having the opportunity to go back to Old Trafford, even though we lost the game, walking out onto that field, getting the reception that I got was very emotional.
And then returning back to LA, obviously you won MLS Cup in your final season in Los Angeles. Must have been a very nice bookend again to a career.
Yeah, I suppose, in all honesty, me making the move to America was a big challenge for me and a big challenge for the league. But to win my first MLS Cup was a big moment. And then obviously to end my 6 years with LA Galaxy, being MLS champion, there's no better way to go out.
That shirt there is a great example of kit evolution as well. It was like the tech fit. Like the advancements in shirts had made. At first, when Tech Fit first came out, I believe you didn't wear Tech Fit straight away.
No, I didn't, because I didn't like the stretchiness. I didn't like to be kind of sucked in too much. I didn't need it. Some players did.
I would need it.
Some players did. Some players didn't look too great in that.
Finally, Paris. Yeah. The end emotional, obviously the big moments there. Yeah. Took 32 again, kept it in Paris.
Kept it in Paris. Number 23 was taken, number 7 was taken. So I was happy with 32. To be able to finish my career winning a championship in another league, in another country, was very special for me. And PSG is a special club with special people, special fans. I obviously got the opportunity to play with Zlatan, who is a great player, but there were so many great players throughout that team. So it was a special moment to end my career in Paris. I played my 100th cap for England in France, in Paris, and then I finished my career on my last game was in Paris. So it's a special place for me.
And let's bring us forward to now. I'm obviously wearing the home shirt into Miami. Just talk us through the freedom to dream.
It's better than the shirt that you were wearing yesterday.
Well, I was wearing a Leeds shirt. Which is a lovely shirt.
It's a lovely shirt.
This shirt here, freedom to dream on the back. Not to get a bit too cliche, but Messi's now at the club. That really does feel like following on the MO.
We've always said that this is an opportunity for us to create something special when we started into Miami. And freedom to dream was always a motto that we believed in. It's really come true. The opportunity to bring someone like Leo to our team was a really emotional moment. And it's one of the biggest sporting things I think to happen in this country. So it's a real opportunity for the next generation to be inspired by a great player like Leo.
For sure. And like this kit, for example, is called the Heartbeat kit.
I was involved in every single design that is on the shirt. I was involved and created the badge for us. I'm very proud of that one.
Do you sort of come full circle that you've played in all these great iconic kits and you can take their memories and the designs into the design process for yourself as well?
Yeah, that's what I did. Like I said about the Napoli shirt, I went through the archive of different shirts over the years from the last 40, 50 years and just kind of took bits from each of them, but also went over for the last 50 to 100 years of all the badges from different teams around the world and tried to recreate something. And that was my brief to the designers. I said, don't just look over the last 5 years, look over the last 100 years of, logos, badges, whatever it is, and take something from each of them.
Because it looks like a club's jersey and crest of a club that's been around for a long, long time.
I think the branding for our club, I might be biased, but the branding and the colours, people love, and it's something we're very proud of.
These are genuinely items of clothing people would wear out and about as well.
They definitely will now. Anyway.
Yeah. Just quickly on that as well, are you someone who would wear a football shirt out in public, or are you more of a...
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but I suppose back in the day I would. But my sons are. My sons love wearing the retro shirts. They like to dive into my archive and try to steal my shirts. So there's quite a few of them, so I don't mind.
Do they walk around in your match-worn shirts?
Yeah, they do.
That is unreal. Yeah. Can we just talk about quickly your favourite shirt from your career? If you had to pick one, which shirt would it be? Flick through this.
It's between that one. I would say, I'm going to have to say this one. Treble winning shirt, the Champions League shirt. For me, that was special.
Huge thanks to Classic Football Shirts for curating all of this. Like, it is an unbelievable archive, and just thanks so much for getting involved.
Pleasure.
And yeah, and best of luck with Inter Miami going forward.
And throw that shirt away that you were wearing yesterday.
All leads, aren't we? All leads, aren't we?